Good morning, everybody. Thought I'd do a quick little video on one of the biggest problems that people face, which is it belly fat or is it belly bloat? And so many people have trouble with belly bloat that it can be misunderstood as belly fat. And so I'm going to save belly fat for another conversation because there's a lot to that. But I'm going to go through bloat. And how do you know you have belly bloat? And you might have both. But if your fat comes and goes, like when you eat your meal at night or throughout the day, but you wake up in the morning and you feel like you have a flatter belly, well, that's belly bloat. So I'm going to give you some ways that you can attack that belly bloat. And then if you need to attack belly fat, again, that's a whole nother conversation, and we can do a lot about that as well. So bloat is basically gas in the digestive tract, and it'll give you the feeling or the impression that you're fat. And sometimes, oh my gosh, when I've had belly bloat before, it has literally felt like I'm 9 months pregnant. And if you're a guy, feeling 9 months pregnant is really weird and a really foreign effect. Now, if you have bloat, you might have signs and symptoms like gas, or you might feel like reflux because it's pressing that acid up, or you might have irritable bowel or things that are changing with your bowel movements, things like that. But you might not. You might just eat and feel bloated. So there is something in the digestive tract called migrating motor complex, and it's basically the contractions that happen, and those contractions are stimulated by different hormones and different enzymes, and so you have to maximize that. And the bacteria or the flora that's in the gut is super important. And if you don't have the right bacteria, they've done studies to show that people who are thin and people who are overweight have different bacteria. Just one dose of strong antibiotics in your life can really alter that flora. So you want to make sure to restore that. So probiotics are going to be really important, things like kefir and kombucha. But I will say, I've really started drinking kombucha instead of wine at night because alcohol can affect the liver and distend those portal veins and things like that. So really want to watch the alcohol. But I will say, if it is belly fat, that is hormonally dependent, and that can be insulin and cortisol. But if you're going to drink kombucha, be careful, because this kombucha, which is, I won't name brands or anything, but it has 10 grams of sugar. And this kombucha has 17 grams of sugar. So real difference. So you're going to want to watch that sugar content. And so other things can be, like the fermented foods and things like that, which are kind of nasty to me. But if you like that sort of thing, kimchi and that kind of thing, that can be good for the gut as well. So the name of the game is we want to keep things moving through as well. And so in the upper GI tract, like the stomach, places like that, one of the biggest things that you can do is hydrate well and make sure that you have good stomach acid, like hydrochloric acid. You can take hydrochloric acid pills, things like that. Just keep that upper digestion moving. And the other thing that you can do, which doesn't sound like fun, and I like to say intermittent eating, not intermittent fasting, because fasting just sounds bad. But if you can limit and have blocks of time throughout the day, up to 4 hours, the studies have shown, will decrease that time. And that's why you probably feel better when you wake up in the morning from belly bloat, is because you've had that time for everything in that migrating motor complex to calm down, all those contractions and everything, and all that gas can dissipate. And but if that gas dissipates, then of course that belly's going to go flatter. So hydrate well and give your bowel time to rest. I'm not even going to talk about what to eat and what not to eat, because basically I'll just put it in a big nutshell. We do food sensitivity testing in our office, but gluten and dairy, the two most common things in our diet, are extremely inflammatory and can cause that inflammatory reaction in the gut. So you're going to want to watch that. If you have digestive enzyme deficiencies, and a lot of people do, you can actually get digestive enzymes at the health food store. We have them in our office too, but you can get them anywhere. And what those do are those composed of lipase, which breaks down fat, amylase, which breaks down sugar, and proteinases, which break down protein. So if you have those complexes, basically if it breaks down that food, it is less likely to sort of sit in the gut and ferment and cause gas issues. So pancreatic enzymes, super, super important if you have a lot of bloating, and especially if you're going to cheat and have a lot of gluten or dairy or something like that, is pancreatic enzymes can help you cheat and can save your life with the bloating issues. And again, you might not feel bloated, you might just feel fat and full, and so that can be so miserable. But you might look at your diet. Are you eating a lot of gluten? Are you eating a lot of dairy? One of the things too is magnesium. So magnesium relaxes the muscles in the smooth bowel. When I was in my residency program for blood pressure, because that's a pressure thing, it's a muscle contraction thing in the arteries, we would give the pregnant moms magnesium because they couldn't take the blood pressure meds. I'm not telling you to stop your blood pressure meds, and this is not medical advice, but we would give them magnesium because it was safer for them. So magnesium not only relaxes the muscles in the arteries, but it also relaxes the smooth bowel. So the transition, again, that migrating motor complex, it's going to move everything through. And the longer that food sits there, the longer those calories are sitting there to get absorbed, and the longer toxins in your food are sitting there. So you want to move that out. People ask how many bowel movements a day. At least one. That's essential. If you're not having at least one bowel movement a day, constipation can cause that bloating too, and it's just a bad deal all the way around. So get that moving. And then another thing is something called methylfolate. Not going to go into all the details of that, but it's a B vitamin. So a good B complex would be very essential to that. Also, the bacteria in your gut. The purpose of the bacteria, this is going to be so gross, and I'm sorry, a little gross alert. It basically eats your food and poops out your nutrients. So then you absorb those nutrients. So it has a very vital function. So the bacteria in your gut serve so many purposes, but methylfolate helps regulate that as well. So super, super important. So again, I won't go into all the things about belly fat and how to control that, but belly bloat is a big deal. And belly bloat over time can cause all sorts of issues, but it can really mess with you and your motivation to lose weight. And if you feel like you're always bloated and fat and pregnant, then you might not want to do things. You won't have the energy to exercise because it just feels gross. You're doing some sort of abdomen exercise and it's just all bloated. So that's really important to attack first. And hope this video was helpful, and want you to have the best, healthiest, wonderful, flat belly life ever. Okay, I love you guys. See you later. Mwah. Bye.